Now, let me ask you this. Didn't you, on the 16th of June 2020, make a further request to Warrant Officer Steenkamp to the effect that she must make additions to an image of a person of interest by adding dreadlocks and it was dreadlocks, let me see, a hoodie on the 26th of June 2020. Do you recall that?
Date? 26th to 16th?
Sorry, it's the 16th of June 2020.
Bathi ngabe uyakhumula yini ukuthi wena awukaze ucele Warrant Officer Steenkamp ekuthizeni ke ngesikhathi besenza ke ID kit yakhe ke edweba yona futhi bese abuye ajobelele kuyona ke umuntu usho ukuthi inwele kube ama dreads usho dreads lokho lapho ke bese futhi afike aphinde futhi ajobelele ihoodie yena akusinjalo ngabe uyakhumula yini lokho uthi wamcela ngelanga lange-16 zaka June ngomnyaka ka 2020?
No, I don't recall, Malet. Perhaps if I can be referred to that statement. I do recall that at some stage I asked Warrant Officer Steenkamp to do some alterations insofar as accused number 1 is concerned, to see if he fits the person with the dreadlock. So perhaps if I can be referred to the portion that Mr. Ramsipili is referring to. Just
the
to remind
relevant
myself.
statement, Brigadier, and surely I'll assist you with that. It's A154.
A154.
Yes.
154.
Athi ngofakazana akasakhumbuli kahle mana nodaba loloke kepha ke uma ngabe ummeli angathi kumlekelela mana nodaba loloke bese athi ummeli yena ke bangamlekelela khona ke le nkulumo lapha ngaphakathi kwekhasi la ka A154.
Yes, my lord. I do have A154.
Athi yebo ke nginayo ke laki mina A154.
And I do confirm that indeed. I did ask, but now I must just check the date before perhaps I confirm.
Yes.
Yes, I confirm A1454, my lord, indicates the date of 16 June 2020. I can confirm it, my lord.
Athi yebo ke ngiyavuma ke lokho futhi A154 nayo ilanga balibhalela phakathi yona mhlambe date ebhaliwe ke athi date yange-16 zaka June ngomnyaka ka 2020.
And annexure 2 thereof, we have this photograph, which will be the exact same photograph that is displayed here. Annexure 2 of that statement of A154.
Bathi khona ke annexure 2 imibukiso ke khona ngaphakathi A154 futhi isithombe sakhona ke sifana ngamashi nesithombe lesi sikhona ngalana ke.
So I have a similar picture of the picture on the left, my lord, on page 2. I'm not sure if it says annexure 2, but on my...
Oh, so sorry, it says page 2, annexure A, sorry.
Correct, yes. Then we agree. Yes, we have the same picture.
Athi yebo siyavumelana ukuthi sinesithombe sisodwa ke.
And that person of interest that you requested Warrant Officer Steenkamp to compile a further additions of an ID kit was none other than Mr. Ntanzi, is that correct?
That is correct, my lord.
Bathi umuntu wekucele khona ke lapho ke Warrant Officer Steenkamp ze amdwebe ke lapho ke akena ke umuntu kepha ngaphandle kumlukuzana kumnumzana uNtanzi akusinjalo yini? Athi yebo kunjalo.
And coincidentally, the 16th of June 2020 is also the date upon which Mr. Ntanzi was arrested, correct?
Bathi ilanga la nge-16 zaka June ka 2020 lona ilanga akwaboshwa ngalo kumnumzana uNtanzi akusinjalo?
Yes, that is correct, my lord.
Athi yebo kunjalo.
And the witness who was involved in the compilation of this identity kit, adding dreadlocks and hoodie, was also the late Mr. Makaleni, correct?
bathi ke oyena muntu bekakhona elekelela ke lapho thizeni badwebeke lo muntu okhonekela ngalana abambiza kade bethi mhlawumbe umuntu ade bemfuna ke loyo ke wasiza ehlangothini noma ithimba labashushisi ke lapho kwathi umnumzana sele washona ke uMakeleni akusenjalo yini?
Yeah, yes. Well, perhaps maybe they answer the question, my lord, to say yes, Mr. Makaleni assisted in the identity kit that we see on the left. However, because this is correct, it's important to put the right context. If you go to page 3 of the same annexure, that statement, then you will see that the facial comparison that Warrant Officer State Camp did, it's not actually the picture that is there. So that was the identity kit that was indeed drawn on the 29th of October 2019. So she took this identity kit, compared it with the picture of accused number 2, and then she came out with this product. So it's different pictures, my lord, if I can show it to the court. So it's 3 different pictures. One in the middle, it was the current picture of accused number 2 at the time of his arrest. Then she took the identity kit of what was in the archives on the 29th of in her statement on the 29th of October 2014, and then out of that, in trying to compare or to link accused number 2 with this identity kit, she came out with this end product. So the end product of the exercise of the 16th of June 2020 is not this picture, but rather this particular one.
Athi ke ufakazi khona ke ithombe ezintathu ke lapho ke ezikhona athi oqala yebo uqinisile ke kepha khona ke ithombe ezintathu mangaba ngathi ukulekelela ke inkosi enkantolo manje nodaba lwezithombe lezi ke ezintathu ke lapho ke athi isithombe saphakathi nendawo ke lezithombe lezi ke isithombe sakamsolwa osibili ke ngesikhathi silaboshwe ngaso ke abasithatha ke yena ke athi kepha kuma usithombe soqala esikhona manje esokudla la ngime khona ke bathi isithombe lesi ke wasidweba ke ngelanga la nge-29 zaka October ngomnyaka 2014 ngemuva ukuthi bahlezi phansi noma ngesikhathi ezahlezi phansi nabofakazi abekade bekhona ngaphakathi lelakhaya uma bekade bemtshela ke ngendlela yesikhangiso ke salomuntu kade wengene wesibili bekahamba naloqala ligi lamkhuba ezimbili ke zangena ngaphakathi kwalo muzi loyana ke bese ke wathi isithombe lesi sila egcineni ke sona ke isithombe esaphuma ngemuva kokuthi enze uqhathanisa phakathi kwesithombe lesoqala futhi nalesikhona phakathi nendawo.
Correct, yes.
Just hold it like that so that everybody can see. I'll make it available to the court as well as an exhibit so that we can clear it up. If I understand you, Brigadier, on the left is the original identity kit of the 29th of October 2014, correct?
That is correct, my lord.
Bathi isithombe esikhonakala ehlangothini sokusasanga sobunxele ngabe isona sithombe esadwetshwa ke esoqala futhi nesiqiniso ngelanga la nge-29 zaka October ngomnyaka 2014 athi ufakazi yebo kuyiqiniso lokho.
And in the middle it's an extract from the current identity document of Mr. Ntanzi, correct?
Yes, my recollection, my lord, I may be wrong in terms of where it comes from, the ID or a photo, but it came to existence when he was arrested. The picture in the middle. So it could be, in my mind, I think it's the identity document with his picture. But I may be wrong if it's not the identity document, maybe one of his pictures. But I can say it without a shadow of a doubt that it came from him, rather from either the identity document. I want to say the ID document, my lord, contrary to just a picture. After he was arrested, my lord.
Bathi ke manje usila phakathi ke phakathi nendawo ke isithombe esathathwa ke la ke yena phakathi kocingo lwakhe ke athi lapho ke afuna ukukhuluma into engenaso iqiniso esigcwele ngayo ke ngoba yena ke ngicabanga kwakhe mhlawumbe ngokukhumbula komcabango wakhe ke isithombe lesi ke saqhamuka ke yena ke phakathi komazisi wakhe ke ngesikhathi lesi bekaboshwa noma ngesikhathi lesi waboshwa ngaso.
In fact, let me just confirm with you, because I did confirm with Mr. Ntanzi by looking at his ID that, in fact, that picture in the middle is an extract from his current South African identity document.
Athi ke umele ukhulumisene nomnumzana uNtanzi futhi ngesikhathi bakhulumisana naye futhi nawe senza isiqiniseko sokuthi isithombe lesi esiphakathi nendawo isithombe ebasithathe ngaphakathi komazisi wakho wala eNingizimu Afrika.
No, I will not dispute that, my lord. Hence I'm saying I think it did indeed. In my mind, it was strongly leaning towards the ID document, my lord.
And then the last picture.
Athi yebo ke ufakazi ngakakuphike ke lokho ke ukuthi isithombe lesiphakathi nendawo ke basatha phakathi komazisi wakhe.
And the last picture then will be the identity kit that was now adding the hoodie and the dreadlock hairstyle of the 16th of June 2020 by Warrant Officer Steenkamp, right?
Yes, so the last picture was the editing of what will this person in the middle look like with a hoodie.
Yes.
Yes, that's the essence of it, my lord.
bathi-ke manje isithombe lesogcina-ke isithombe la abasidwebayo bese bajobela phakathi kusona-ke ihudi futhi nama-dreads-ke athi yebo kunjalo.
Now, I'm not sure whether you are going to leave your stand so that we can deal with these pictures here. The similarities, the resemblance that you talked about, the strong resemblance that you talked about. If we can start first with the identity kit on the left. I'm not sure whether the pointer is available so that you can point to the features that I want you to point at. Or if the mic can move, Brigadier, so that we also...
I can actually see.
Yes.
I don't have a pointer,
Yes.
but yes, I'm able to see the two pictures, and I can answer
Yes.
Mr. Ramsey.
So on the identity kit first, I want you to point out the dreadlock hairstyle that then was transported to the picture of the ID kit of 16 June 2020 on this photo. On the original ID kit, where are the dreadlocks?
Well, what looks like dreadlocks, my lord, I can't say with certainty because, and this point I think it's important to put into perspective, my lord. I will explain it or I'll try to answer the best I can, but the difficulty, and that is the reality of the situation.
Yes.
This is an identity kit.
Yes.
It's in black and white.
Yes.
This is a picture which is in color. So the reflection will never be 100% the same. So I think that should be important because if I was having a picture identikit like this with these color features and having this picture taken from accused number 2 in the same features, I think you'll have a better reflection. But we're talking about two different features of the system that was used to reflect accused number 2.
Kade ecela-ke ummeli kufakazi ukuthi kahle kahle uma ebuka-ke isithombe lesi phecelezi la bakhuluma khona ukuthi kade anama-dress lock noma isithombe lesi esadwetshwa-ke lapho-ke Warrant Officer Steenkamp ngemuva ukuthi kade atshelwa-ke izisulu ekade zikhona-ke ngaphakathi kolo muzi okade sinekhona isigameko ukuthi akasho kahle ukuthi phecelezi kule sithombe lesi ukhethekile-ke ukuthi akuphi amadoda ade ngikhuluma ngawo-ke athina-ke nonoma engenaso isiqiniseko kepha angasho ukuthi uma ebuka lana-ke kule ndawo lena-ke futhi nangalana-ke angasho ukuthi-ke wona-ke ama-dreads alomlisa okhona kule sithombe lesi-ke kepha akasho ngokugcwele noma akasho ngesiqiniseko malana udaba lolo-ke ngoba athi imbangela yalokho kuwukuthi-ke uma ubuka kule sithombe lesi-ke wasidwebile futhi athina isithombe esathathwa ngumakhalekhukhwini noma ngekhamera asho ukuthi simnyama-ke lesi-ke asifani nalesi esikhona-ke ngalana-ke ngoba athi uma ubuka isithombe lesi esikhona ngalaceleni sangisomnqole kade isona sithombe esicace bhanwe isithombe esicace kahle-ke sakamnumzana uMzansi-ke lesi-ke kepha lezi athi isithombe esadwetshwa-ke lapho.
Yes. But of similarities, my lord, in relation to the question of the 16th of June. So if you look at picture number 3, and I'm standing under correction, my lord, yes, I'm saying the only thing that seems to be coming out is blackish, and hence I can't see all the way to the top. And that's why I'm saying I can't say it, because dreadlocks will normally start from the head. I'm unable to see what is contained up there. I only see these black things hanging out, my lord, like this, but I don't see what's happening on the head. But so that's why I'm saying that's the closest inference I can refer to insofar as the dreadlocks are concerned. But in the picture, page 3 of this photo, the product of what Warrant Officer Steenkamp was trying to compare, she does have this picture of accused number 2 does have the black things hanging on both sides, the left and the right hand side, my lord.
Athi-ke lapho-ke imbangela ukuthi angasho ngesiqiniseko esigcwele ukuthi lo muntu onawo ama-dress lesithombe lesi ukuthi ubona lokhuzana imnyama ngalana eyehlayo duze nobuso bomuntu lana amahlangothi omabili lapha-ke futhi esinizathu ukuthi lo muntu khona lana ugqoke isigqoko futhi ama-dress aqala la ekhanda lomuntu bese ayehla-ke eduze ney'ndlebe zakhe komuntu bese amehlela ngemuva-ke athi sona sizathu senza ukuthi angakhulumi ngokujulile noma ngokuqiniso elijulile-ke uma ekhuluma ngodaba lama-dress lokukhona lesithombe lesi-ke futhi abuye akhuluma khona njalo ukuthi mayelana nodaba lwezithombe lezi-ke ezadwetshwa-ke lapho-ke warrant officer scan campo-ke usuthi isithombe lesogcina-ke sesithathu-ke lapho-ke athi uma ngabe ubuka kule sithombe lesi-ke kuyawubona lesogcina-ke lesi ngemuva ukuthi kade ayinesithombe sokuqala lesi wesidwebile ngelanga leli bekahlangene nabo nabofakazi ngemuva ukuthi kushona-ke umufi lapho-ke ngelanga le-29 October 2014 bese kuthola isithombe lesi sakaMnumzana uNtanzi-ke phakathi komazisi wakhe-ke athi lesi sithombe esikhona legcinini yisona sithombe saqhamuka ngemuva kokuthi ngade aqhathanisa phakathi kwesithombe lesi sakamazisi-ke futhi nesithombe wasidweba-ke ngesikhathi kade senze i-ID kit athi futhi uma ngabe ubuka-ke isithombe lesi-ke lesogcina lesi athi zikhona-ke lezi zinto ezimnyama ezikhona-ke lana-ke lezi ezikhona-ke futhi lesithombe lesi lesi esikhona sadwetshwa-ke ngelanga lange-29 October 2014 futhi athi izona izinto athi mhlambe-ke zicishe zafana ncamashi uma eyibuka malana nodaba lwalomlisa okhona phakathi kwalesithombe.
And Brigadier, let me say this. I agree with you. The things that you pointed on the left and the right of the face, that you say inferentially for you, you cannot say with certainty are dreadlocks. I also draw the same inference, and I'll tell you why. The person that described dreadlocks in respect of suspect B, or the second intruder that entered the house, is not any of the persons that were in the house. It's not Tumelo Madala, it's not Zandile Khumalo, the mother, Kelly Khumalo, Mtokozi Sitwala, and Longe Twala. It is the person that was on the outside, the late Makaleni. He's the first person to introduce the concept of suspect B having dreadlocks. Hence, dreadlocks are added on the initial identity kit. Are you agreeing with me?
Athi-ke Brigadier Gilinda ngiyakuzwa-ke uma ngabe uthi wena ngekhe usho ngesiqiniseko futhi ngokugcwele ukuthi lo muntu okhona kule sithombe lesi-ke unama-dreads ngoba-ke ukhulume khona njalo inkulumo iqhamukile kubantu kade bekhona ngaphakathi kuloya muzi ngesikhathi kade kusenzeka-ke udlame lo kade kusenzeka futhi noma kade kusenzeka isigameko-ke lapho-ke athi phakathi kwalabantu kade bekhona la ngaphakathi kwalo muzi-ke uma ngasekabala lapho abotumelo madlala abolongithwala futhi nabo utumelo ulongwe ukheli uzandi athi bona-ke abakaze bakhulume ngendaba suspect B usho ukuthi lapho-ke umsolo wakhe wesibili-ke kepha inkulumo yaqhamuka lapho-ke kumnumzana osele washona-ke ade ehlala eduze nalo muzi wesigameko lapho-ke umnumzana uMakaleni bathi uyena-ke uqhamukise udaba lokuthi-ke lo mlisa uthizeni mhlawumbe lesigilamkhuba sesibili-ke kungathiwa washo njalo ukuthi asinawo ama-threats.
Yes, insofar as the dreadlocks introduction, my lord, you will see that in Mr. Makaleni's statements. The people inside the house only do refer to suspect B, but there's no reference to him having dreadlocks, my lord. So I agree in that context, my lord.
Athi yebo ngihambisana ke nenkulumo yakho mayelana nodaba lokade ulikhulumile ukuthi-ke abantu bekhona ngaphakathi kwaloyo muzi loyana-ke abakaze bakhulume lutho-ke mayelana nesigilamkhuba sesibili-ke kepha-ke umuntu owakhuluma ngesigilamkhuba sesibili-ke lapho-ke usele washona-ke lapho umnumzana uMakeleni.
No, it's not what I said. They did speak about the second suspect. What I'm saying, my lord, is that they never, in my recollection, they never made reference of the second suspect having dreadlocks. So you find the introduction of the dreadlocks from the late Mr. Makaleni, but they do mention that there was suspect A and then there was suspect B, the people who were inside the house.
Ngiyaxolisa-ke lapho kunesilungiso nje esikhona-ke lapho-ke athi abantu ade bekhona ngaphakathi kuleya muzi bakhuluma-ke ngesigilamkhuba sesibili noma isigebengu sesibili kepha abakaze bamchaze ngokugcwele ukuthi utshakala kanjani-ke athi kepha isikhangiso salo muntu wesibili-ke siqhamuke ngomnumzana uMakaleni osele washona-ke futhi uyena okhulume olethe indaba yama-dreadlock mayelana nodaba lomsolwa wesibili.
That's my recollection, my lord.
Athi lokho engikukhumbulayo.
And when you were looking at similarities between the two images, you referred and pointed out at the O-type beard on both the images, correct?
Bathi uma ngabe ubuka-ke iy'thombe lezi futhi usenza ukuqhathanisa phakathi kwazo-ke kukhona-ke udaba okhulumile ngalo-ke udaba lwentshebe elawundi ngabe usakhumbula yini lokho-ke?
That is correct, my lord.
Athi yebo ngisakhumbula.
And I take your your explanation that although inferentially you can say the ID kit has got dreadlocks, but because of the color of the hoodie inside on the comparison photo, you cannot discern dreadlocks. I'll accept that. Let's look at the difference. The so-called soul patch, you remember I told you about that? That's a beard between the lower lip and the chin. Is it present in both the ID kit and the comparison photo?
Bathi yebo ke ngiyakuvuma ukuthi ukhulumile ngodaba lokuthi ke lo muntu okhona ke lasithombe lesi sadwetshwa ke lapho ke unezinto ngathi mhlawumbe sathi ama threats ke kuyena ke kepha kusithombe seqiniso lesatholakala phakathi kocingo lwakamnumzana uNtanzi ke awukhulumile ngodaba lama threats ngabe buka lapho phakathi kwaso ke bathi manje khona ke udaba lwentshebe laba benza ukuthi uswayini intshebe khona ke bathi uma ngabe phakathi lesithombe lesi ke se ID kit ke ngabe uyayibona yini ke futhi nanombuka lesithombe sakhe seqiniso ngabe ekhona yini?
No, it's not there, my lord, but it needs to be taken into context, as I've said, my lord, that the identification or the similarities, according to my observation, that I see and which I saw back on the 18th of June 2018 when I confronted accused number 2, is based on how in my view, I think it looks like in relation to the identikit. And now when I was comparing the two photos, I didn't say, my lord, in my evidence in chief that it is in relation to each and every feature that you find on the identikit and that you will find on the picture depicted on the left. I'm saying if I look at accused number 2, even now before court, and refer the identikit, for me, there is strong resemblance. And that is not to say now each and every picture, the eyebrows insofar as, because, my lord, one needs to note that it's not a picture, it's not a true reflection, a split reflection that was taken in 2014. It's not a picture. In other words, you don't have a camera image capturing accused number 2 as how we looked on the day of the offense when the state is alleging that he was there. It's an identikit. Now, next to it, it's not an identikit. It's a true picture in color of how it looks. So you will not have, that's why I'm saying you have two systems of how accused 2 is reflected. And that is a difficulty if you want to compare a product that is generated from different systems, because the vision this side is not the same exactly as this side, my lord, meaning on the left and the right.
Athi yebo khona ke kunjalo kepha ke uma ngabe sogciniza kabanzi phakathi kwezinto ezifanayo phakathi kwalomuntu noma phakathi kwesithombe salomuntu esadwetshwa lapho bathi abasola abanensolo zokuthi umsola wesibili ke lesi identity lapho ke athi nothize kukhona okufanayo kakhulu noma ocishe kwafana kakhulu ke phakathi kwesithombe se-identity futhi nesithombe lesakhe seqiniso ke umnumzana uNtanzi athi kepha khumbula khona ukuthi yena ke kulaqala khona ke ukubona ukuthi umnumzana ngesikhathi bekahlangana naye umnumzana uNtanzi ngelanga lange-18 zakaJuni ngaka 2020 ke athi kulawo bona khona ukuthi ahlahle uma ebuka yena amathupha futhi aphinde aqhathanisa phakathi kwesithombe lesikade asiphetheke esadwetshwa lapho ke officer Stain Camp ngemuva ukuthi bakahlezi nabantu ke bekhona abofakazi laba kade bekhona ngaphakathi kwalakhaya ngelanga lesigameko lapho ke athi bamchaza ngalendlela abamdube ngayo lapho ke kepha athi ngeke akhonqiniza kabanzi kulolu daba lolo ke athi kepha kungakho athize kukhona okukhulu futhi khona ke okuningi okufana ncamashi uma ngabe eqhathanisa phakathi kwezithombe lezi ezimbili kepha athi ukukhumbule khona ukuthi isithombe lesingale agqoke khona ke futhi enombala ke ubomvu futhi nendawo ezimnyama kuyena ke bathi isithombe sakhe seqiniso ke leso ke futhi athi the last aspect
I forgot.
Okay.
No, I forgot. But the last part that I want to indicate, my lord, is that I am not a facial expert. So I will not be able to give facial similarities. I'm simply referring to what I observe, my outside, that when I look at the identikit and I look at accused number 2, insofar as we started back on the 16th June, this is what the reflection, the feedback I'm getting in terms of what I see on my mind shows me the similarities. But this is not to say I'm making now conclusive findings in terms of the facial features, because I do not have those expertise, my lord. I'm relying on my eyes.
Ukujobela ke lapho ke uyasho khona nje ukuthi nake akena ke uchwepheshe oqhathanisa phakathi kobuso ke babantu ke lapho ke noma phakathi kwezithombe ke zabantu kepha ke asho njalo ukuthi nake inkulumo aqhamuka nayo ukuthi yinto awayithola noma into awayibona ke nake mathupha ngelanga la nge-18 zakaJuni ngaka 2020 ke ngesikhathi lesi bahlangana ke nomsola wesibili ke futhi ephethe identity yakhe kulawa bayaqhathanisa khona ke wabona ukuthi khona ke okuningi futhi okuningi lokho khona ke kuyafana phakathi kwe-ID kit le kade ayiphetheke nanoma ebuka lapho ke umsolo wesibili.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, you see, the reason why, Brigadier, I'm asking you, because we are doing a comparison. You were asked by the state to do that comparison. Now I'm following in their footsteps to confirm or distract from the assertion that there's a resemblance between the ID kit and the control photo, or that is exhibit DDB photo 4. You were made yesterday, and this is the context. You were made yesterday to read a small passage out of context from when I cross-examined Mr. Tumelo Madala, to the effect that I said, and I still stand by that, and I'm going to stand by that, because context is important, and I've said so. When I was cross-examining Tumelo Madala, I said the following. He described that I saw the second suspect, he had an O-type beard, and he had a beard here. He pointed here, right? And when I cross-examined him, and I said, Mr. Ntanzi said, he never had that beard. If you look at that passage that you were meant to read yesterday, I said, Mr. Ntanzi said, he never had that beard here. Because I didn't know its name back then. Law don't teach us about different types of beards. They teach us about law. So I said he never had that beard, and he never had the O-type. My statement was in the context of the incident of 26 October 2014, when Mr. Robert Senzo Meyiwa was murdered. It was not in the context of 2021, 2020, 2019, 2015. It was within the context of the incident of 26 October. Now the context has been taken out to say, I meant to say, Mr. Ntanzi never had beard, never had the O-type beard his entire life, ever, ever.
That's a good respect.
That's what the record reads, man.
Yeah, just read it again so that
It says, Mr. Ramusipili, these are the proceedings of 8 August 2023, page 13, line 14.
right.
Now, accused number 2 instructs me that he has never had this beard here. In fact, he does not grow on him, and he has never had an O-shaped beard like you say the second suspect had. And furthermore, that he has always kept the goatee, the one that you see here in court, from as long as he can remember. That's what it says, man.
Yes.
That he never.
Yes. But it was within the context of the dying of Mr. Senzo Meyiwa. That is the cross-examination. Not in vacuum. Within the context of the 26/10/2014.
Athi umeli ke embangela ukuthi akuze lo daba lo ukuthi ke lapho ke khona ke into eyenzakele la izolo phakathi phambili kwenkosi enkantolo ke la kade khona kucelwa khona ke ufakazi babubhekade yakini ukuthi akenze uqhathanisa phakathi kwezithombe lezi ezimbili ke isithombe esadwetshwa ke lapho ke ngelanga la nge-29 October ngonyaka 2014 uma eqhathanisa phakathi kwaso futhi nesithombe lesiqiniso sakaMnumzana ke lapho ke uNtanzi ke ukuthi ngabe yini ke into ayibonayo efana phakathi kwezithombe lezi ezimbili isithombe esadwetshwa ke futhi nesithombe sakhe seqiniso ke lapho ke khona ke inkulumo futhi lapho ke yena ke abayikhuluma ke lapho ke kuTumelo Madlala ke ngesikhathi lesi uTumelo Madlala bekakhona la enkantolo alethe ufakazi bakhe ke lapho ke lawamuza khona ke noma lawamtshela khona ke inkulumo kade iqhamuka lapho kumsola wesibili ke lapho ke inkulumo ukuthi yena ke umsola wesibili uma ikhuluma ngelanga la nge-26 zaka October ngomnyaka 2014 ukuthi yena ke athi yena akaze ke abe nayo ke lentshebe ekhona lana ke sokuthi uswayini ke ngesizulu ngabe ibiza ke bese ngesingisi wathi usol patch lentshebe la phansi la ngaphansi uma ngabuka lapho ngaphansi komlomo ke bese athi yena ke intshebe kade anayo ke lapho ke futhi nalentshebe ekade ku elawo ukuthi O shape nayo futhi nayo akakaze abe nayo ke kepha intshebe kade anayo ngesikhathi sonke ke umnumzana ke uNtanzi ke ile ntshebe elana ke ngenzansi nje efana nalentshebe yembuzi bayibiza ukuthi igoatee ke leyo ke manje ke ihlangothi ithimba labashushisi zaphakama lapho babobaloyi washo khona njalo ukuthi le nkulumo la akaze ke ibekwe ngalendlela leyo ke kepha kumele wabuya futhi waphakama wathi yebo kunjalo ke kungakho wathize yena ke lentshebe elana ke sokuthi uswayini ke lowo ke ukuthi akakaze abe nayo ke kepha wathi ngaphakathi kwala ID kit edotshiwe lana ke intshebe la ke iyajengakala ke iyabonakala ke kepha ke ngale hlangothi lesithombe sakhe siqiniso ke intshebe khona icacile bha bese athi ummeli yena ke udaba khuluma ngalo ke udaba le26 noma izinto noma into yabonwa ke layo ke ngelanga la nge26 zaka October ngomnyaka 2014 abantu ade bekhona lapho ngaphakathi ke athi lenkulumo bekayibuza lapho kuTumelo Madlala.
So, my Lord, my understanding, two aspects in that regard. My understanding of what the state put to me with regard to this question was to the extent of saying what is my comment,
Yes.
rather to the point that says comparison. I understand this concept to be different because then it is when you need to have skills to do facial comparison, and that's the feel that I'm saying I do not have, my Lord.
Okay.
Athi ke lapho ke uma ngokukhumbula kwakhe nendlela umbuzo athi uqoqhamke ngakhona ke izolo bekuwukuthi lapho ke ngabe yini ayibonayo phakathi kwale ithombe ezimbili athi abakaze bashokela ukuthi akaqhathanise phakathi kwezithombe lezi ezimbili ke ngoba yena ke athi akakufundele uqhathanisa phakathi kwezithombe ke shothi into oqhathanisayo ke umuntu ofunda bese kubuye sekuba into bebuchwepheshe ke loyo ke oqhathanisa phakathi kwezinto ezimbili ethi zingabe ziyafana noma ayifani.
Yes, insofar as the resemblance, my Lord, that's what I spoke about. Then moving to the second aspect, my Lord, insofar as what transpired, the last part of Mr. Ramsipila, unfortunately, I was not in court.
Yes.
So, I only read what was brought to me. I can't take it further than that, my Lord.
Athi mina nodaba lokufana ke lapho ke ilonto ayikhulumile uthi ngabe yini ayibonayo efanayo ke lapho ke kepha athi mina nodaba unomzana uRamsipili adalibuza ke yena athi ngeshwa ke kade ngekho la ngaphambi kusenkantolo manje ngeke akhone ke uthi akhulume ke ngento angenayo ulwazi layo ke kepha athi khona ke inkulumo kade bemlethele ukuthi mhlambe angaphendula athini ke kuyona.
And also yesterday you pointed at the hoodie in the identity kit and you stated that its color was grey. Did I get you right?
Bathi ke izolo ukhulumile ke ngombala wehoodie noma ingubo egqokiwe lo muntu lokhona kule ithombe lezi ke wathumbula khona kade ugrey athumele ngabe ukuzwe kahle yini.
Yes, I'm referring to what I see, my Lord. I was referring to that identity kit because one, for me, in my eyes, it looks great because if one looks at the eyebrows and what is coming out on the side, that is black. So I was referring to what I see. But that, it's not the same when you now go to the description of the hoodie that was given because if you go to the description of what suspect B was wearing, insofar as Mr. Makaleni is concerned and Exhibit J of Mr. Steenkamp, he was wearing a black hoodie. That's the description that is given, that he was wearing a black hoodie. And then you will find also, okay, maybe let me just stop here for now, my lord, for the interpreter.
Ngiyabonga. Athi ke lapho ke bathi ukhulume ngombala ogrey wehoodie igqoke lo muntu okhona kule sithombe sayididikile esadwetshwa ke lapho ke athi yebo ukhulumile ke ngombala ogrey kuthi ke lesithombe lesilana lesinombala ke ogrey ke kepha athi uma ibuka le inhlangothi ekhona ngalana kathumala zwe black usho ukuthi umbala ke umnyama ke noma ibuka futhi ezinye ke indawo usho umbala ke umnyama futhi athi uma ngabe landela ke inkulumo eyakhulunywa lapho ke baba Makeleni uselo washona ke phaya ekhuluma ku Steenkamp ukuthi umuntu kade ugqokela what was wearing
a black hoodie
ukuthi ade agqoke ke ihoodie enombala ke omnyama.
Yes. And I was saying, my lord, now that's because now I'm talking about what I'm seeing and what was described insofar as the second suspect is concerned. So you find that with Mr. Makaleni, but during the course of investigation, that is now in the corroboration aspect, you find in the statement of Mr. Zungu, Constable Zungu, where he says he saw accused number 2 in particular changing from the black hoodie, that is now on the day of the incident at Basutino Hostel, from the black hoodie wearing a grey hoodie. It's contained in his statement where he described. And I'm talking now to the corroboration. But what you see there, in my view, it looks grey. But I'm saying insofar as what was described on the day of the incident is the black hoodie worn by suspect B.
Athi futhi ke ngesikhathi kade senza kuphina kwecala labo ke lapho kade khona ke inkulumo eqhamuka futhi ehambisana nenkulumo eqhamuka kubufakazi lapho ke athi khona uma icaphula phakathi kwenkulumo athi khona ke lapho ke athi khona ke inkulumo eyakhunywa lapho umnumzana ke uZungu la wathi khona ke yena ke wabona khona la wathi khona la ubona khona ke umsola wesibili ke ngesikhathi bekabuya eBasuthuni Hostel ashintsha ingubo egqoka kade ayigqokile ke yena ke athi wafika lapho eBasuthuni Hostel wakhumula ingubo kade ayigqokile ihoodie elombala omnyama ke bese ke ngemuva kwalokho washintsha leyo hoodie leyo ke bese wagqoka ke ihoodie egrey kepha kathi yena kumanje nodaba lolu alibona khona ngalana ke athi akaboni umbala omnyama ke ihoodie leli kepha ke ubona ke umbala ogrey uma kade bedweba lapha yana on the first camp.
Yes, my lord, that's my response.
Brigadier, I'm going to request you to do this. When you answer, don't elaborate by giving reference to what other witnesses said that you were not present in court, because we're going to go and read what they said and cross you on that, which is irrelevant for this purpose. Just focus on the short, simple answers on what you can describe in relation to the question asked, because now you are saying you collaborated by going to Zungu, then I'll say Zungu, we crossed him and this happened. It's going to take us out of our focus here.
Ecela ke umme ukuthi ze ugqinize ke uma ngabe uphendula ke impendulo yakho kunciphise bese uphendule mana nodaba lwakubuza lona ke kepha ungacaphuli phakathi kwenkulumo ke abanye abantu ufanele ukuthi uzungu okutshela lokhu noma akaza kutshela lokhu ngoba uma ngabe sokukhuluma kanjalo ke athi yena ke uzobuya futhi asho khona ukuthi uzungu uthi wena uzungu akukhuluma lokhu masithe simbuza ke imibuzo ke bese wabuya kuphendula lokhu bese lokho kuyodinga ukuthi thina ke sisihlele emuva ke lapho ke la esothola khona konke lokho kade sicela la phansi la ngaphambi kwengesenkantolo.
No, my lord, I agree. I'll do my best to assist, but I felt that the right context must be put, because remember, my understanding, the question that I'm being referred to insofar as the color of the hoodie, it relates to the identikit that was given on the 29th of October 2014. Now, if I'm to leave it hanging to say, yes, the hoodie is gray, I'm giving the wrong impression to the court, and I'm here to assist the court, because the hoodie, in terms of the color, that was given in 2014 is actually black, and that's why I felt I need to put that context proper, that as much as here, based on what I see, it looks gray, but the actual color that was given then, it's actually black, my lord, contrary to the gray that I see. And I'm saying gray, my lord, because it's an identikit. I think Warrant Officer Steenkamp would have been in a better position whether she regards this as gray or not. This is just according to my observation, and I might be wrong for that extent, my lord.
Athi nawuzama ukuthi anciphise ke mana uma iphindwa ke impendulo lapho ke kepha kathi uma yena ekhuluma ngento kayibonile mathupha noma into kade bembuza ukuthi ngabe yena yini la ibonayo lapha kanti koludaba lolu lesithombe lesike athi khona ke abofakazi noma umnumzana uMageleni ngesikhathi kade ahlezi phansi lapho kwabantu officer Steenkamp umbala wengubo kade gqoke lo muntu wesibili ke lapho ke noma lesigebengu sesibili ke kuukuthi kade gqoke ke lapho lakhe yena ke ingubo noma ihoodie ke nombala ke omnyama ke akazo asho ukuthi kade gqokele ukuzana ihoodie enombala ke ogray athi kepha ke inkulumo ukuthi kade gqoke ihoodie grey aqhamuka ngemuva ukuthi bahlezi lapho ke nolokuzana nozungu kade ambuza ke imibuzo lapho futhi naphakathi kwestatement sakhe usho ukuthi uzungu akusho lokho ke athi kepha ke umuntu ongabuya assessment athi lana ke umbala na ubonayo athi ubona ke umbala ongathi ugrey kepha ke umuntu ongabe sesimeni sokuthi afike la ngaphambi noma eze la ngaphambi kusenkantolo besalekelela inkantolo ukuthi kahle kahle uma ngabe ebuke lesithombe lesi sadutshwa lapho ke ngabe lo muntu khona kulesithombe ngabe lo muntu otshangakala kulesithombe lesi ugqoke ingubo enjani ngokombala ke lapho ke Warrant Officer Steenkamp ngoba uyena kade adweba ke futhi uyena kongabuye futhi asitshele kabanzi noma ngogcwele ukuthi ahlahle yena ke lo mbala okhona ngalana ke ngabe umbala ke onjani ugrey noma ngabe umbala omnyama.
Thank you, Brigadier. Now let's leave this, Brigadier. I've exhausted it for the purpose for which it was produced yesterday. Let's go to Exhibit DD4B. That is the 19 photographs that were further downloaded by Warrant Officer Ndlovu.
Yes, I do have them in front of me, my lord.
Yabonga ke ummeli apha acela ukuthi nje simise kancane ke ngalolu daba lokho sesibuka phakathi kwemibukiso ka exhibit DD4B ekade ithomalisa kade zilethula Warrant Officer Ndlovu.
Now, looking at that exhibit, exhibit DD4B, just all the pictures, a quick cursory look. Are there pictures that depict Mr. Ntanzi with dreadlocks on those pictures?
Bathi manje uma sobuka phakathi kwezithombe lezi zonkana ekhona ngaphakathi kwemibukiso ka DD4B ngabe ikhona yini isithombe la atshangala khona kuMnumzana Ntanzi enama dreads ke na ke ekhanda?
No, my lord.
Athi cha.
And further, looking at the same photos, are there pictures that depict Mr. Ntanzi with the beard that is called a soul patch?
Athi uma ngabe kubuka ke izithombe lezi zonkana ngabe sikhona yini isithombe la kule izithombe lezi ke esikhipha uMnumzana uNtanzi enentshele abayibiza ukuthi uswayini?
My Lord, the difficulty I'm going to have to answer that affirmatively or with conclusive answer is that some of the pictures are not clear. For example, if you go to page, others are not clear in terms of the visibility. That's number one. But number two, for example, if you go to page number 8, accused 2 has his hand over his mouth like this. Okay. So where you'll see the sole page, it's covered by his mouth. So the difficulty, it's that I can't say conclusively to say it is not there. All I can say is that I cannot see it, but not because it's not there, simply because some pictures are not visibly enough. And in one picture, like picture number 8, his hand is covering the part where you'll actually see this type of beard.
Leyo kothi kube nzima ukuthi ayiphenduleke ngoba ngaba uma ngabe buka ke ithombe leziki athi ayicacile ba isathi soqala ke ileso athi futhi isathi sesibili ukuthi khona ke isithombe sinye lapho ke uma ngabuka lapho ku class less 8 lapho ke lethombe lezi zakhe ke athi khona labe ke khona ke isandla sakhe la umlomeni wakhe ushuthi cishe ovala ke umlomo wakhe ke wonkana athi futhi ushuthi ngendlela beke ngayo isandla sakhe la umlomeni wakhe kula ungeke ukhona ukubona khona ke ukuthi lentshebe kuswayini ngabe unayo yini noma akanayo.
And of the more than 5,000 images that were downloaded by Warrant Officer Ndlovu, are there photos in there of the date of 26th of October 2014 that depict accused, Mr. Ntanzi with an O-type beard and a soul patch?
Bathi kule thome lezi ezindlule lapho ku 5000 ke download lapho Warrant Officer Ndlovu ke kuzo zonkana engabe sikhona yini isithombe la sitshengisa khona ke umnumzana uNtanzi uma sesimbuka kahle hle kuyithombe lezo zonkana la ave aqhamuka khona kwisithombe leso ka sithi mhlambe unentshebe owuswayini kena ke noma ke intshebe eround like yena.
My Lord, my recollection of that download, it doesn't go to the date of 26 October 2014. So it's not that it's not there, it simply means we don't have the data for that date. That's my recollection of the briefing I got on the downloads.
Athi malana nakutholile ke malana ne report ayithola ukuthi abanazo ke ithome zelanga la nge-26 October ngomnyaka ka 2014. Athi lokho akukhumbulayo.
Now, based on that answer of the last answer, would you then agree with me that without the contemporaneous photos of 26 October 2014, there is no way to tell the appearance of Mr. Ntanzi, especially pertaining to the O-type beard and the soul patch that was mentioned by the witnesses, especially Tumelo Madala and Ms. Zandile Kumar?
Bathi ngaphandle ukuthi sibe naso ke isithombe sakhe bathi ungakuvuma yini ukuthi ngaphandle ukuthi sibe naso isithombe sakhe kumnumzana uNtanzi ke lapho ke isithombe satshengakala khona ke sangomnyaka 2014 ngelanga la nge-26 October uma sesiwaphatha kwesithombe leso ke uma singenaso isithombe sesimtshengisayo ukuthi kade nentshebe ewuswani la kuyena ke futhi nentshebe ke eround nanoma kade eshiwo lapho ke uTumelo Madlala ke futhi noZandi.
See, my Lord, the difficulty I'm going to have to agree with that it's that I know what is contained in the docket. Because if this was a standalone question and there was nothing else in the investigation that indicates the role placed by accused 2, I'll probably agree with Mr. Ramsipili. But sitting with the background of knowing what is contained in the docket insofar as the evidence against number 2, I'm having difficulty to agree with that. Because, for example, we have confessions where he implicates himself and the role that he played. So if I take that into account, how do I then distinguish or remove him from being there? That's why I'm saying it's standalone. Perhaps I may agree, but knowing what I know surrounding the case is difficult to say, because if I say it's difficult, my Lord, because I can't take this question in isolation of what I know that involves accused number 2.
Athi lapho ke uma ngaba kade kubuzo nje lojulile ke kade kubuzo nje oyimele ungakhulumi ngelanga elithize noma ilanga elithize ngelapho ke noma ukhuluma ngelanga noma ungakhulumi ngelanga athi bazokhuluma kophili kumbuzo kepha ke into ethola ukuthi into enze ukuthi kube nzima ukuthi aphenduleke noma avumelane noma ahambisane nenkulumo ekhulunywa ke umeli ukuthi yena ke athi unalo ke idocket la ke yena ke futhi unazo istatement futhi uyazi ukuthi kuyini ebhaliwe phakathi kwestatement ekhona ngaphakathi kwedocket leli analo lana ngaphambi kwakhe athi futhi ke olunye udaba ukuthi ngesikhathi kade bemtshela lokho noma ngesikhathi kade afuna okubhaliwe ngaphakathi kodoketi athi lo muntu bamchaza ngale ndlela ekukuthi yena ke unayo lentshebe eloud ke yena ke futhi lentshebe ekuswayini futhi athi uma ngabe futhi ebheka phakathi kwitatimende zalabantu abakhuluma ke lapho ke abotumelo madlala ke futhi naloko akubuza ngakho kumeli athi lokho kumenza ukuthi abe ngaphansi kwesimo esinzima ukuthi aphendule kuleyo mbuzo.
Brigadier, you went to some length to speak about the involvement of Mr. Ntanzi, your background of knowledge of investigation, confessions. I did not ask on any of those aspects. My question was very simple. You've said the data that was downloaded does not include photos of 26 October 2014. Let's start there, correct?
Bathi wena uzagcina uze ujulile ngesikhathi buphinda umbuzo uzokhuluma lama confessions la uthi khona kumsola sibili kade ayifaka khona ke udownload ubelo madlala ke futhi nalabanye ke akade bekhuluma ke lapho ke manje athi sikhuluma ke ngodabula nge26 zaka October ngomnyaka 2014.
That is correct, my lord.
Now, sorry. My second question was that, now, would you agree with me that in the absence of photos from 26 October 2014, we wouldn't be able to say what Mr. Ntanzi appeared like in 2014 in respect of the old-type beard and the soul patch? I did not talk about involvement, confession, or anything.
I
mean, the witness did say in isolation, he might incline to agree with Mr. Ramsipil, but he said you have to look at the totality of the evidence. He's sitting with the docket. There's a confession, two confessions, wherein accused number 2 implicates himself. He cannot be expected in his answer to divorce his mind from the conspectus of the evidence.
Brigadier, for me, this is a narrow aspect. Let me ask you, the photos in Exhibit DD4B, do you have any idea when they were taken?
athi komele akabuza manje nezithombe esikhona ngaphakathi kwe-exhibit 44B DD4B ukuthi ngabe mhlawumbe unalo yini ulwazi ukuthi bayithubula nini ithombe lezi?
No, I don't, my lord. All I know is that they were not taken on the 26th of October 2014 because I know we don't have that data.
Athi cha anginalo ulwazi lokuthi ithombe lezi bathatha nini ke athi kepha kongikwazi ukuthi ithombe lezi azikaze zithathwe ke ngelanga la nge-26 zaka October ngomnyaka 2014 athi ngoba banazo ithombe zelanga la nge-26 zaka October ngomnyaka ka 2014.
The point really, Brigadier, and I'll assist you. Some of the photos, according to Warrant Officer Ndlovu, they were taken, the first photo was 10 June 2020, second one was 4 June 2020, the third one, page 3, 12 November 2020, the fourth one, 12 November 2020, I think similarly because this looks like the same picture up to page 6. And then page 7, 6 July 2019. And then the 8th page is 12 July 2019. And subsequent to that, there are no dates because the photos are called what is termed deleted recovered photos. That is, am I not losing you, Mr. Interpreter?
Athi ke umeli ithi akulekelele ngoba umnumzana Warrant Officer Ndlovu khona ke ithomba khulumile ke ngazo la ngaphambi kungusenkantolo ke esikhona ngaphansi kumibukiso exhibit DD4B ekukuthi isithombe sokuqala ke esikhona ngalapho basithatha ngelanga la nge-10 zaka June ngomnyaka 2020 ke bese sesibili basithatha ngelanga la nge-4 zaka June ngomnyaka 2020 ke bese sesithathu sathatha ngelanga la nge-12 zaka November ngomnyaka 2023 bese ke sinyaka sathatha lapho ngomnyaka lokuzana ka 12 November 2020 ke isinye bese basithatha lapho ke ngelanga la nge-6 zaka July ngomnyaka ka 2019.
Yes, and now I'm saying some of the photos that do not have dates, Warrant Officer Ndlovu stated that they are deleted recovered photos. Therefore, the metadata won't reflect when they were captured because if you for example, remove and insert, the date will change, and if it's a deleted photo, sometimes you can recover the data, sometimes you cannot. So we don't know the dates of those photos.
Bathi khona ke ithombe lapho ezingabhalile amalanga ukuzona ke wathi la khona ke umnumzana oRato Officer Ndlovu wakhuluma khona ke ukuthi ezinye zezithombe lezo ke uyile ithombe abayicishe khona mhlawumbe ithombe bayidelete ngaphakathi kocingo ke bese ezinye ke uma ngabe ukhipha ke umuntu imemory card ngaphakathi kocingo noma ngaphakathi cellphone ke lapho ke athi kuva ukuthi mhlawumbe uma usuphinda ubuyisela phakathi memory card lapho ke uma usubheka lapho ilanga lezithombe lapho kathi uvame ukuthi mhlawumbe ungatholi ilanga lezithombe bangeqiniso kepha uthole ke elinye ilanga elihlukile ngaba kusenjalo yini.
I'm listening, my lord.
Okay. So the point really that I'm making is that when we look at photos of 2020, they do not accurately reflect how accused or Mr. Ntanzi looked like in 2014, given the natural growth and potential growth of a person.
Athi ke iphuzo zamkulethela ukuthi ke uma sesibuka ke ithombe zawo zeminyaka ka2020 ke ithombe zikaMnumzana ke uNtanzi azimtshengisi ngendlela adajankala ngayo ke noma ngendlela adabukeka ngayo ke ngomnyaka ka2014 ngoba ke umuntu unako ukushintsha futhi unako ukukhula ke.
My lord, I think it's really a scientific question because
Let's leave that. Everybody. Let's leave
Atufaka
that.
uthungule ke umbuzo ke ngaphendula ke abantu bendalo ke ushithi abantu beze science.
Okay, cover this one. My lord, if I may be given just to look at my witnesses, my notes. Now, let me sum the sum total of my cross-examination for the purposes of exhibit DDB 4 and DDB A. I mean, so sorry, DD exhibit DD4B and DD4A.
Yes, my lord.
Athi kumele qedela ke inkulumo yakhe ngokuqedela mana udaba lwezithombe lezikona ngaphakathi kwimbukiso ka exhibit DD4A and futhi DD4B.
Accused, why do I say accused? Mr. Ntanzi says he did not have an O-type beard and a soul patch beard on the 26th of October 2014 during or around the period of the occurrence of this incident.
Athi ke lapho komnumzana uNtanzi athina kakaze kabe nayo intshebe ekuswayini ke futhi nentshebe ke elound like nakhe kule ntshebe la ebusweni kuyena ke ngelanga la nge26 zaka October ngomnyaka ka2014.
No, my lord, obviously I was not there with him in 2014 to see exactly how accused 2 looked like. What I do know is that the second suspect, suspect B, was described as having the soul patch and the O shape, the round, the oval beard shape. That's what was described, my lord. Moving forward in the investigation, evidence was found that links accused number 2 to be the one fitting the description and role played by the second suspect, meaning suspect B.
Athi ke ufakazi angaphendula kanje ke lo mbuzo ukuthi na ke ngelanga la nge26 zaka October ngaka 2014 kade angekho kule ndawo esehlo ke nokho nesigameko futhi kade engekho na yeke lapho umsolo wesibili umnumzana uNtanzi ke futhi athi ngekhe asho ukuthi kade isikhangiso sakhe noma kade ajankala kanjani ke ngelanga la nge26 zaka October ngomnyaka ka2014 kepha athi ngemuva ukuthi babenze ukusesha noma benze ukusesha kwicala ke lapho ke athi khona ke ufakazi obaqhamuka lapho ke ade buqhamukile uthi lo mlisa wesibili ke noma lesigila mkhuba sesibili noma lesigebengu sesibili sijankala njengomuntu onjani. Athi kula khona ke wabona khona ke ngemuva ukuthi athole ukuthi lo muntu wesibili ke kade khona lapho ke ukuthi kade enesikhangiso esinjani ke uma abofakazi kade bemchaza ngokusikhangiso sakhe.
And the descriptors that you've just mentioned now, the O-type beard, the soul patch. There was also a description of Mr. Ntanzi having had a gold tooth, and like you stated, we are not going to rehash it. Dr. Tlhoko's report speaks for itself in respect of whether or not Mr. Ntanzi had a golden tooth.
Bathi ke ngemuva ukuthi udaba okukhulumeka ngaloko lokuthi kade engenayo ke unalo ulwazi ukuthi kade anayintshebe eloud noma kade engenayo futhi nentshebe kade kuswayini ke bathi khona ke udaba oluqhamukile ukuthi umsolwa wesibili umnumzana uNtanzi ukuthi naye kade nalokho izinyo legolide ke lapho ke bese athi ngena namthatha ke ngemuva bese namthatha namnikisa kudokotela uHlokwe futhi yena owaqhamuka nezinhlolo ngemuva futhi enzeke izinhlolo zakhe ke ukuthi ke umsolwa wesibili umnumzana uNtanzi ke akaze abe nalo izinyo legolide athi futhi ngeke sihambe sibili sihlehlele emuva ke kwelo daba ngoba sibe salidikida lana ngaphambi kwenkusinkantolo.
Yes, I'm listening, my lord.
Athi yebo ngilalele.
Mr. Ntanzi instructs me to tell you that your so-called strong resemblance of his photo and the ID kit is not as strong as you suggest.
Athi ke umnumzana uNtanzi atshele ukuthi lokho kulandelayo ukuthi lento thina ke ifana into enkulu efana ncamashi kule thombe ezimbili ke lapho ke athi cha akukho lokho futhi akufani neze.
My lord, that's my observation, and that's what my observation is telling me.
Athena ke ufakaza indlela ke abona ngayo ke futhi indlela akhuluma ngayo jena yinto ayibonayo.
He says that resemblance is not strong because of the following. He has never had dreadlocks, he has never had a soul patch, he has never had a gold tooth.
Athi ke akutshela ukuthi yena akakaze ke abe nayo ke intshebe lena ababezithi uswayini futhi akaze abe nalezinyo legolide lapho ke kuyena ke futhi akakaze abe nawo ke ama-threats.
And I'm saying this, let me qualify before somebody jumps up and down. I'm saying in the context of the commission of this offense on the 26th of October 2014.
Athi kumele ajobeleke inkundla ke ukuthi ngelanga la nge-26 zaka-October ngomnyaka 2014.
My lord, that is why I'm saying, because now we're going to the commission of the offense on the 26th of October 2014, and that is why I said earlier, the difficulty for me to agree with this narrative, this is not standalone evidence that I know we have against accused number 2. So I have to take into account what else do we have that connects accused number 2 to this offense. And if I take that into account, it will be very difficult for me to say it is not him that played the role of suspect B, because all evidence that we collected points to him being the person who was now described as suspect B, and that is a difficult. If it was standalone question, I think then I might have had to concede to the question of Mr. Ramsepile.
Athi ke lapho ke akekho ngaphansi kwesimo esikahle sokuthi aphendule kulo mbuzo lo ngoba lo daba lo ke udaba olujulile ke phaka linciphile lapho ke athi futhi nakanalo ulwazi ukuthi ngabe yini yenzeka ngelanga la nge-26 October 2014 ngoba kade angekho ke lapho ke athi kepha ke into abayithulile lapho ke ukuthi ufakazi kade buhambisana futhi kade buxhumanisa ke lapho noma kade buletha ke lapho ke duze ke umsolo wesibili ke athi into awayizwa ngabofakazi leyo ukuthi lo muntu wesibili ke kade sinjani isikhangiso sakhe nokuthi ajengakala ke njengomuntu onjani ngelanga leli kade kusenzeka lapho ke udlame lo olwenzeka mhlambi no yebo ngelanga leli okwenzeka ngalo ke lesehlo lesi.
And before I proceed with my recap, Brigadier, let's quickly go back to, I think, Exhibit DD4 in brackets B. And in particular, let's look at photo 9. Photo 11 is a bit blurry. Photo 9 and 14.
Yes, I have photo 9 and I have photo 14, my lord.
Please told Mrs. 9 futhi nathi Mrs. 14 ngaphakathi kwale exhibit DD4B. Atufakazi yabona aso Mrs. 9 futhi naso Mrs. 14.
Do those photographs depict Mr. Ntanzi with the O-type beard?
Bathi ngabe ithomo lezo zitshengisa umnumzana uNtanzi ke enentshebe elound la kuyena?
No, my lord, and I think in my evidence in chief I dealt with that part, that in this photo you can see the mustache, the beard at the bottom, but it's not round because there seems to be a gap on the side. So no, it's not an oval beard, my lord.
Athi cha le thomo lezo zitshengakala njengokuthi umnumzana uNtanzi ke unentshebe elound la kuyena ngoba ukhulumile ukuthi umnumzana uNtanzi une mustache lentshebe la ngaphezulu komlomo futhi le ntshebe khona la ngezansi njengentshebe yembuzi nje kuphela.
And I think also on photo number 14, I did say that it's not clear enough for me to make a conclusive view that the beard is oval. So this, when I was dealing with these pictures led by the state, I did indicate that, my lord.
athi futhi lesithunzi sesi-14 xa ukhulumile ke ngaso naso sokuthi yena ke isithunzi asicacile ibhange ngendlela eqondile eqondakala kahle ke lapho ke athi na uma kukhuluma lapho ke manje uphiqilizi nesithumbuliso noma mathupha nesithumbuliso ke kuukuthi lapho ke akaboni ukuthi umnumzana uNtanzi ke unayo intshebe elawundi ke na ke.
And that's the instructions regarding the O-type beard and the soul patch. I've already placed on record the other denials in my earlier interaction with you on the main case, so I'm not going to repeat those. They stand. Now, the other thing, Brigadier, you were referred to Exhibit J, which is the report and facial identification by Warrant Officer Amanda Yvonne Steenkamp. Remember that?
Athi ke lapho sesikhulumile ke ngezinye ke izinto umnumzana uNtazi bakhuluma ngazo ukuthi yena ke asikho ke na futhi kade angenazo ke lapho ke ngesikhathi ade banaqala ke ngaphansi kwesifungo athi manje ngeke siphinde sibuyele kuzona ke athi kepha uma sesijobela kudaba lo exhibit J le yabhalwa ke lapho ke uYvonne Amanda Steenkamp ngabe uyekhumbula yini?
I do recall testifying about it, my lord, but I'm not sure if the state referred me to I'm not sure. Look, what I can say is that yes, I did.
No, you were referred to it today. Today you read passages from there regarding what Kelly Kumalo said, but also I've taken you through that, Brigadier. I'm not going to regurgitate that. The point really that I want to put, and the reason why you are here now on a second take for me to cross you. An application was made and a passage of my interaction with you on this Exhibit J was used in support of that application. So just 2 points on that, or even one for that matter. Of all the witnesses that were in the house, that is Makumalo, Kelly Kumalo, Zandile Kumalo, Longwetwala, Tumelo Madlala, and Mtokozisi Twala. Now I'm speaking specifically for the compilation of Exhibit J. Did they provide Warrant Officer Steenkamp with the description of suspect B?
Athi ke ummeli uma sesikhuluma kodaba lolu ke olukhona ngaphakathi kwenkulumo Exhibit J athi sesile sakhuluma ngalo esikhathini esidlule manje ngeke aphinde abuye agxinize kulona kabanzi ke lapho ke ngoba wayithola into kade afisa ukuyithola ke kepha ukhona ke umbuzo anawo angathanda ukuthi akubuze athi phakathi kwabo bonkana abofakazi kade bakhona kuleli khaya leli la kwaKhumalo oqala uMakhumalo owesibili uKheli Khumalo owesithathu Zandile Khumalo omunye uLongwe Thwala bese uTumelo ngomthokozisi athi ngabe labantu laba ngabe bakhuluma yini ngesikhangiso noma ngendlela atshengakala ngayo yini umsolwa wesibili?
Now, my lord, the answer is twofolded. The first part is no, insofar as Exhibit J indicates, but it's twofolded. That's the first part.
Athi lombuzo kombuzo omkhulu futhi ojulile kepha ke uma ngaze angaphendula mara nephuzu loqala ukuthi cha abakazi bakhuluma.
But in my response to that aspect, my lord, is from the time this exhibit was introduced, when I was under cross-examination, not even now, my lord, and also when I dealt with it just now when I was talking to, or rather being cross-examined by Advocate Mnesi, I've said over and over again that people who were inside the house, and I'm not saying only to Advocate Mnesi, I'm saying when I was dealing with this, that the people who were inside the house, as much as Warrant Officer Steenkamp said they did not assist in the identikit of accused number 2, or suspect B. But if you go into their statements, which is what we have in the docket, and disclose to the defense, they do describe the second intruder. That is why we have the description of the first intruder and the second intruder, meaning suspect A and suspect B. All that Warrant Officer Steenkamp says is that they did not give her points to draft the identikit of the second suspect, but insofar as the description of the second suspect, it is contained in their statements, my lord.
Athi ke kepha ke uma sesingazi sesingahamba sihambe sibuke kudaba loma statement akhona ke la ngaphakathi kwedocket. Athi khona la bakhuluma khona ke abofakazi bonkana laba ke ngesikhangiso noma ngendlela atshengakala ngayo ke umsola wesibili. Athi futhi kepha ke ngeshwana ngebhadi ke lapho ke thina ke ngesikhathi warrant officer Steenkamp adahlezi phansi nabo ke athi abakaze bamtshele malana namaphuzu athize esikhangiso sakhe ke umsola wesibili lapho ke athi futhi inkulumo le ekhona ngaphakathi kwale statement sakhe lesike athi nabameli benu ke bakuthola lokho ke ushuthi babanikeza la ngaphambi kwinkosi enkantolo ukuthi inkulumo yini le abakhuluma ngayo ke ufakazi ade bekhona ke kulela khaya lelana ngelanga la nge-26 zaka October ngonyaka 2014 uma kade bemtshela noma kade betshela bekhuluma ke lapho ke ngesikhangiso salomuntu salesigebengu esesibili esangena ngaphakathi kwalela khaya.
My lord, at this juncture, I'm going to request that we stop here. My colleagues have just sent me a note that they need to confer with me before I finalize my cross-examination of the brigadier. So I'm going to request that we adjourn until tomorrow. It's almost 20 past minutes.
Uyacela ke umuntu manje simise manje ngohlelo lwethu la enkantolo uhlala la enkantolo athi aboza kwabo khona kudaba ngofisi wa division ayeke ngaphambi kokuthi aqedele ukubuza imibuzo kufakazi ubaba uBhekathi yagininde.
Are you available tomorrow?
Yes, my lord.
Okay, adjourn until tomorrow.
Asiphakameni